I love my music video, and I'm really proud to say that it was my creation. And I think that looking at it, there are a lot of things in my own mind that I would change that nobody else would necessarily notice. And I think with my digipack and my website and my poster, I think it all works together really well as a product, and I'm really happy at the way it's turned out. It's been hard, it's been a challenge, there's been lots of ups and downs, but from the feedback I've got and from what I can see, I'm really happy, and I think it looks very professional. I did a lot of research before I started this whole experience into music videos themselves, into fandom, into really lots of different styles and genres of music, because I wanted in my own mind to have a clear definition of the common conventions and symbols that were used in a lot of music videos nowadays. And what I found is that music videos are almost that link between audiences and artists, and in a lot of ways they're the most important part of being a musician and an artist nowadays, because they represent a lot of things about your style, about your audience, and they're almost a way of letting the world know what you're about. And from my research that I did on the internet, I was reading books, just from watching videos themselves, I found that music videos, especially in the tween pop sensation of the likes of Miley Cyrus, Ashley Tisdale, who's the artist of voyeurism, it's quite an interesting concept. It's quite an old concept that's been around for a long time, and I've never really noticed it before. But going back over the music videos that I've looked at, and from my research and watching music videos after this whole experience, I can see it a lot more, and I think it plays a very important part in music videos nowadays. And as audience members, I think we get satisfaction out of watching something that we know others aren't necessarily aware of, and especially in teen music videos, voyeurism in terms of looking at our own reflection, looking through windows at others that, like I said, aren't aware of us looking, I think is a very interesting concept, and I think it says a lot about audiences themselves. And personally, I wanted to use this and really highlight this in my music video, and I did this by using a lot of shots in terms of reflection, in terms of kind of hidden shots behind natural objects, where the focus of and the artists in my music video weren't aware that they were being filmed. And I tried to use that a lot because I think it's a very important part of audience. I think inspiration is a really important part for any director or producer or designer, because you have to start from somewhere, and you have to have something to base your ideas around. And I think doing my own research and having an original music video there kind of helped me a little bit, because at first I was really stuck. You know, I panicked, I was stressing out because I didn't have an idea, and then I sat down and I finished my research and I looked at what I had in front of me, and a lot of my inspirations came from my own experiences, and reading the lyrics kind of helped me a lot, reading them over and over again, because I could see the viewpoint. And I took a lot of my inspirations from artists such as Ashley Tisdale herself, from Katy Perry, from Miley Cyrus, and although I'm not necessarily a fan of these artists, I think their music and their videos say a lot about what teenagers are going through, and that was where my inspiration kind of came from. As a teenager myself, I can relate to the lyrics and the video, and I think teenagers and my audience will also relate to my music video, at least I hope, because that was my inspiration, that's where I was coming from. That came from, I was actually in America, and I heard this song by a band called Metro Station, and I really liked it, and I ended up looking at the video on YouTube, and their music video was actually set in a fairground, and I really liked the way that the light was used, and the rides were used. to convey kind of emotion and highlight the lyrics in the song, and that's where that element of my music video came into. So I toyed with the idea of doing it in the arcades, doing it down the seafront, and then the kind of carnival kind of came around. It's an annual carnival, and it all kind of fitted into place, so that was where I knew I wanted to use the carnival. This wasn't as hard for me because I think my personal strength is working on computer design and website design and stuff like that, so I wasn't really dreading this whole digipack and promotional experience. I think the hardest thing for me, again, was coming up with the idea, but once I'd done some research, I had an idea in my head and I knew I'd have to shoot some photos, so I kind of went from there. And I think my digipack works because it shows my artist in a way I think audiences can relate to. There's kind of a lot of deep emotion in the image, which is relatable to my song as well, with the differences in emotion. And I tried to use a lot of eye contact. I didn't use a lot of colour, and that was something my focus group did comment on, but I deliberately chose not to use a lot of colour because I think using black and white says a lot more to audiences in terms of emotion and connection, because I think they can kind of come up in their own, think about their own emotions and put their own spin on something instead of me telling them what to do, which in a way kind of challenges conventions, because a lot of media products out there nowadays kind of manipulate feelings of audiences and tell them what to think. In terms of my insert and my extras on my DVD, that was just kind of a bit of fun I had, and with the extra time I used some pictures that I hadn't used, and I just wanted people to, especially with my bloopers, to see that it's actually fun, and there was a lot of fun and happiness making this video. And also extras and bloopers and inserts, they're all conventions and common things in the media industry nowadays. You don't pick up a DVD and it just be the video on it itself. There is commentary, there's bloopers, there's deleted scenes, there's the makings of. So it kind of all came out of just love for the whole experience and me wanting to just create more and more and more. I mean, if I had more time, I'd go on and do absolutely everything I wanted to do, but I can't do that. So in the end, I came up with a few promotional items and the rest of the stuff that's on my digipack, and I'm so proud of it, and I think it looks really professional.